Riri, I have to tell you, I just watched my neighbor load a brand new 85-inch TV into his house. Third one this year. Third. I'm pretty sure he's single-handedly keeping Best Buy in business.
Let me guess. He's also the guy with the leased BMW, the DoorDash addiction, and somehow always too broke to max out his 401k.
How did you know? It's like you've seen this movie before.
Because I've lived it, Justin. I was that person. Well, maybe not the TV part, but the spend now, panic later lifestyle? Absolutely. And then I discovered something that changed everything. Not from some Silicon Valley guru, but from my grandmother's kitchen table in Osaka.
The mysterious Japanese wealth secrets?
Exactly. And here's the thing, these aren't get rich quick schemes. They're get rich slow, but actually get there systems. Methods that have been working for over a century. And today we're going to break down 9 of them.
And more importantly, show how Americans, like my neighbor, keep spectacularly failing at them.
Don't worry, we'll change his name to protect the financially irresponsible.
His name is already American consumer culture. That's protection enough. Welcome to In English Podcast, the podcast where we explore money philosophies from around the world that actually work. I'm Justin.
And I'm Riri Nakamura. Together, we bridge Eastern wisdom and Western practicality to help you build wealth without losing your mind or your soul.
Today's episode is going to be a deep dive. We're talking nearly 70 minutes of content, but we separate into 3 episodes because we want to really explore these 9 Japanese wealth building methods. Not just list them, but understand the psychology, the history, and why they work when so many other systems fail.
And because I know our listeners love real talk, we're going to share some painful, hilarious, and totally relatable stories of how Americans try to apply these principles and completely miss the point. Like trying to do yoga while checking your stock portfolio.
Spoiler alert, that's not mindfulness.
Not even close. So grab your notebook, maybe some green tea, and let's get into it. Starting with method number 1. The one that started it all, literally over a century ago.
Method 1, Kakeibo. And I have to admit, when you first told me about this, Riri, I thought, a budgeting method from 1904? What, did they use abacuses and samurai swords to cut up credit cards?
The samurai part is historically inaccurate, but the abacus part actually, yes. Kakeibo was invented by Hani Motoko, Japan's first female journalist. She created this system for her readers, and it spread because it worked. It wasn't about restriction, it was about awareness.
And this is where we need to get specific, because Kakeibo isn't just write down what you spend, it's a whole psychological framework. Walk us through it.
Okay, so imagine a physical notebook, not an app, not a spreadsheet, a real book with paper that you touch. At the beginning of each month, you write down your fixed income. Then you subtract your fixed expenses, rent, utilities, subscriptions.
The non-negotiables.
Exactly. The amount left over, that's your savings target. But here's the crucial part. You don't just hope you save it. You decide in advance how much of it goes to savings, and you treat that savings amount like a bill you pay to your future self.
Pay yourself first. Classic advice, but the Kakeibo version has something extra.
The 4 pillars. Throughout the month, every single expense gets categorized into one of 4 boxes. Survival, true necessities like food and medicine. Culture, education, books, experiences that enrich you. Optional, wants, entertainment, dining out. And extra, the unexpected stuff that always happens.
And the magic happens at the end of the month.
Yes, you total everything up, but more importantly, you answer 4 reflection questions. How much did I spend? Did I hit my savings target? What could I improve? And this is my favorite, what is my financial goal for next month?
It's the reflection that makes it work. I've seen studies showing Kakeibo users save up to 35% more than people using apps, and I think I know why.
Tell me.
Because writing by hand slows you down. It makes spending real. When you top a credit card, it's abstract. When you write Starbucks $7.45 in a book you keep on your desk, you're forced to acknowledge that you just spent an hour's wages on a drink that took 5 minutes to consume.
The pain of paying, researchers call it. And writing by hand activates different parts of your brain than typing. You're more likely to remember it, to feel it, to question whether it was worth it.
Now, let's talk about how Americans get this spectacularly wrong, and I have a perfect, painful example.
Oh no, who are we throwing under the bus today?
Let's call him Dave from Denver. Real person, composite details to protect the embarrassed. Dave heard about Kakeibo on TikTok, loved the aesthetic, the minimalist notebooks, the washi tape, the whole intentional living vibe.
I already see where this is going.
Dave bought a $47 official Kakeibo journal from a trendy lifestyle brand. Then he bought $200 worth of budgeting supplies, special pens, stickers, highlighters, and pastel colors. He spent an entire Sunday setting up his financial journaling practice.
And then?
He used it for 3 days. 3 days of beautifully color-coded entries about his $8 smoothie bowls and $12 craft beers. Then he got busy. The journal sat on his nightstand, he kept swiping his cards, kept getting DoorDash, kept wondering why he was broke at the end of the month.
He turned a tool for saving money into a consumption hobby.
Exactly. He spent $250 to start a savings practice, then abandoned the actual practice while keeping the spending habits. It's like buying a gym membership and thinking that counts as exercise.
This is what I call aesthetic minimalism versus actual minimalism. The Japanese concept of Kakeibo is about substance over style. Hani Motoko created it for working class women who needed to stretch every yen. It wasn't supposed to be Instagram worthy.
And here's the deeper failure. Dave never did the monthly reflection. He never asked, what could I improve? Because that would require admitting he wasted $250 on stationery while carrying $8,000 in credit card debt.
Gently, the reflection is where the growth happens. Without it, Kakeibo is just expensive diary keeping.
So let's give our listeners the real way to do this. Rary, if someone is listening and wants to start Kakeibo today, what do they actually need?
A notebook, any notebook, the one you have in your drawer right now, a pen, and the commitment to write down every expense every day for 1 month. That's it. No special tools, no perfect setup. Start tonight.
And the reflection questions?
Write them on the inside cover. Make them your ritual. I do mine every Sunday evening with a cup of tea. It's 15 minutes that has saved me thousands of dollars.
Because you can't improve what you don't measure, and you can't measure what you don't record.
Exactly. And speaking of measuring and recording, let's move to method number 2, where the Japanese took this awareness and applied it to building actual wealth, not just preventing waste. Method 2, Tsumitate. This is where we go from saving to growing.
And this is where I think Americans have the hardest time, because we love the big score. We want to find the next Amazon stock when it's $10. We want to day trade our way to millions. Tsumitate is not that.
Not even close. Tsumitate literally means accumulation or pile up. It's the practice of investing small, fixed amounts at regular intervals, usually monthly, regardless of what the market is doing.
Dollar cost averaging, but make it cultural.
Exactly, but with a Japanese twist. In Japan, Tsumitate NISA is a government-supported tax-free investment account. You can start with as little as 100 yen per month, less than $1. Over 7.8 million Japanese people have opened these accounts since 2018.
And the psychology here is fascinating. By making the amounts small and automatic, you remove the barriers to entry. You don't need to be rich to start investing. You don't need to time the market perfectly. You just need to start.
The consistency matters more than the amount. 1,000 yen every month for 20 years beats 100,000 yen invested once and then panicking when the market drops.
Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world, but only if you give it time to work.
You know, when I worked on Wall Street, I saw the opposite approach constantly. Young traders would get their first big bonus, maybe $50,000, and immediately try to smart invest it all. They'd spend weeks researching stocks, convinced they could beat the market.
How did that usually go?
They'd pick 5 hot stocks, 3 would tank within 6 months, 1 would stay flat, 1 might go up 20%. They'd sell the winners to cover the losses from the losers, pay short-term capital gains taxes, and end up with less than if they'd just bought an index fund and forgotten about it.
And they paid for the privilege of underperforming through stress, time, and ego damage.
Meanwhile, my aunt in Tokyo has been putting 10,000 yen, about $65, into a simple index fund every month since 1995. Through the Asian financial crisis, through dot-com crashes, through everything. She's not rich by Wall Street standards, but she is financially independent. She never stressed about it. It was just automatic.
That's Tsumitate working over 28 years. Now let's talk about how Americans mess this up, and I have another painful example.
I'm ready.
Let's call her Sarah from Seattle. Sarah's 32, works in tech, makes $140,000 a year. She heard about passive investing and decided to try Tsumitate-style accumulation. She set up an automatic transfer of $500 per month into a brokerage account.
So far, so good.
Then, March 2020 hit, the pandemic crash. Her portfolio dropped 30% in 3 weeks. And here's where the American mindset kicked in. Instead of continuing her automatic investments, which would have been buying low, she panicked. She logged into her account every hour. She read every doom-filled article, and one Tuesday at 2 a.m., she sold everything.
She locked in the losses.
She locked in a $4,200 loss, stopped her automatic investments until the market stabilized, and waited on the sidelines. By the time she felt safe enough to invest again, September 2020, the market had recovered and hit new highs. She bought back in at higher prices, effectively buying high and selling low, the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do.
The behavior gap. Studies show that investor returns lag fund returns because of exactly this: panic selling and performance chasing.
Sarah's $500 monthly plan would have turned her $6,000 annual investment into roughly $8,500 over those 6 months if she just stayed the course. Instead, she ended up with $4,800 after taxes and fees, and she was so traumatized she didn't invest again for 2 years.
She turned a temporary market fluctuation into a permanent loss of capital and confidence.
And this is the core difference. Tsumitate isn't just about the mechanics of investing regularly. It's about the emotional regulation to keep doing it when things look scary. The Japanese approach accepts that markets go down. It's built into the philosophy.
Chisoku, contentment with what you have, applies here too. You're content with the process, not demanding immediate results.
So how do we actually implement this correctly? For someone listening who wants to start Tsumitate investing,
3 steps. First, choose a low-cost index fund, or ETF, total stock market or global diversified. Second, set up an automatic investment from your paycheck or checking account, timed right after you get paid so you never see the money. And third, and this is crucial, set a calendar reminder to check your balance only once per quarter. Not daily, not weekly, quarterly.
remove the temptation to react.
Exactly. And if the market drops, your automatic investment just bought more shares at a discount. That's a good thing, even if it doesn't feel like it.
Tsumitate turns market volatility into a friend, but only if you have the discipline to keep showing up.
Small amounts consistently for a long time. That's the magic formula that doesn't require magic at all, just patience.
Method 3. Mottainai. This is probably my favorite concept, and I think it's because it hits at something Americans are really bad at.
Or bad at a lot of things, Justin. Be specific.
We're bad at valuing what we already have. Mottainai is this beautiful, complex Japanese word that expresses regret over waste. Not just, oh, that's a shame, but a deeper feeling that resources have souls, that objects deserve respect, that waste is almost moral failure.
It's often translated as, what a waste, but that doesn't capture the emotional weight. When my grandmother says mottainai about food left on a plate, she's not just being frugal, she's expressing gratitude for the farmers, the rain, the sun, the cook's labor, all embodied in that rice.
And this mindset naturally builds wealth because it reduces consumption without feeling like deprivation. You're not denying yourself a new phone because you can't afford it. You're keeping your current phone because it still works, because manufacturing it created carbon emissions, because replacing it would be mottainai.
The psychological reframe is everything. Instead of I should be more frugal, it's I respect this object too much to waste it.
I saw this in action when I visited Japan. My friend's father had a jacket that was 40 years old. Not vintage cool, just old, but perfectly maintained. He'd repaired the elbows, replaced the buttons, had it cleaned properly. It looked great because he'd cared for it.
Meanwhile, the average American buys 68 new clothing items per year and wears each one less than 7 times before discarding.
Fast fashion is the antithesis of Mottainai. And now the American failure story. This one hurts because I know this person.
Oh no, personal connection?
My cousin, let's call him Mike from Michigan. Mike got really into sustainability and zero waste living after watching some Netflix documentaries. He was inspired by Japanese concepts like Mottainai.
Good start.
Mike decided his apartment was too full of Mottainai, so he Marie Kondoed everything, threw out perfectly good clothes, furniture, kitchenware because they didn't spark joy. Then he replaced them all with sustainable versions: bamboo toothbrushes, organic cotton sheets, recycled glass storage containers, a $3,000 ethical sofa.
He wasted everything to be less wasteful?
Exactly. He generated 3 tons of garbage to achieve zero waste. He spent $12,000 replacing things that were fine because he wanted the aesthetic of simplicity. And 6 months later, his bamboo toothbrushes were moldy, his organic sheets had pilled, and he was bored of his ethical sofa.
That's not motanai. That's consumption wearing a costume of consciousness.
The real Mottainai would have been keeping his old toothbrush until the bristles actually wore out, repairing his sheets, appreciating his functional furniture. The waste was in the discarding, not in the keeping.
This is what happens when people adopt the vocabulary of Japanese philosophy without understanding the substance. Motanai isn't about having less stuff, it's about having more respect for the stuff you have.
And the wealth building aspect, Mike could have invested that $12,000 at 7% returns over 20 years. That's $46,000 he traded for a brief feeling of moral superiority.
To be fair, the Japanese approach to motanai and wealth is actually very practical. My grandmother's generation saved incredible amounts, not by earning more, but by wasting nothing. Food scraps became soup stock, old clothes became cleaning rags, broken items were repaired.
They extracted maximum value from every resource.
And that mindset compounds. When you waste nothing, you need less. When you need less, you spend less. When you spend less, you save more. It's not about deprivation, it's about efficiency.
So for our listeners, how do we practice real Mottainai?
Start with food waste. Plan meals, use leftovers, learn to make stock from vegetable scraps, then extend to clothing. Repair before replacing, buy quality that lasts, care for what you own. Then to general consumption. Ask, can I use what I have before buying anything new?
And the wealth follows naturally, not through grand gestures, but through the accumulation of small respects.
Method 4. Ikigai. This is where wealth gets philosophical, and I think Americans actually get parts of this right, but completely wrong in the execution.
Ikigai is often translated as reason for being or life purpose. The classic diagram shows 4 overlapping circles: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. The intersection is your Ikigai.
And in American culture, we've turned this into find your passion and monetize it immediately, which creates all kinds of problems.
Let's talk about the healthy Japanese approach first. In Okinawa, where Ikigai is most studied, it's not about becoming a billionaire doing what you love. It's about finding daily purpose that sustains you. The 100-year-olds there aren't running passion businesses. They're gardening, caring for grandchildren, participating in community rituals.
Their Ikigai gives them reason to wake up, not reason to hustle.
And the financial implication is subtle but profound. When your purpose comes from community contribution and personal growth, you don't need to spend money to fill existential voids. You don't need retail therapy. You don't need to upgrade your lifestyle to feel successful.
The Japanese approach to Ikigai and wealth is about alignment. Your work supports your life. Your life isn't consumed by work. And money serves your purpose rather than becoming the purpose.
Now, the American disaster story, and this one is everywhere right now.
The passion economy casualties?
Exactly. Let's call her Jessica from Jacksonville. Jessica was a successful accountant making $85,000 a year. Stable, good benefits, clear career path. But she felt unfulfilled. She discovered Ikigai concepts on Instagram and realized her true purpose was, I'm not making this up, creating artisanal candle holders from reclaimed driftwood.
Okay.
Jessica quit her job, cashed out her 401k, paying penalties and taxes, took a $40,000 small business loan, and opened Driftwood Dreams. She posted daily about living her truth and aligning with her purpose.
How long did Driftwood Dreams last?
18 months. Turns out the world didn't actually need that many driftwood candle holders. Her Instagram had 12,000 followers, but her conversion rate was 0.2%. She made $18,000 in revenue her first year, with $67,000 in expenses.
She confused attention with demand.
She confused what I love with what the world needs. She confused what I can be paid for with what I want to be paid for. And she destroyed her financial foundation to pursue a fantasy.
This is the dark side of follow your passion culture. The Japanese Ikigai is sustainable because it's humble. It's found in existing life, not in dramatic career pivots.
The Okinawan grandmothers didn't quit being fishmongers to start passion projects. They found purpose within their existing roles.
And the financial wisdom is don't monetize your hobbies unless there's proven market demand. Keep your stable income while you test your purpose on weekends. Build the business before you quit the job.
Real Ikigai is often found at the intersection of what I'm good at and what the world needs, even if that's not your absolute passion. You can find purpose in being an excellent accountant who helps small businesses thrive. That serves the world. That can be your reason for being.
The wealth-building version of Ikigai is find work that pays well enough to support a life you find meaningful, then find meaning outside of work too. Don't put all your purpose eggs in the career basket.
And definitely don't cash out your retirement to buy a laser cutter for driftwood. The specific examples are painful, but the pattern is universal. Americans here find your purpose and here find your product. The Japanese here find your contribution.
Contribution can be compensated. Existence cannot. That's the financial difference.
Method 5. Chisoku. This is the antidote to lifestyle creep, and boy, do we need it.
Chisoku comes from Zen Buddhism. It literally means to know satisfaction or contentment with one's lot. It's finding happiness in your current circumstances rather than constantly reaching for more.
And this is where American capitalism is basically designed to make us fail. Every advertisement, every social media feed, every influencer is telling us we're not enough yet, not successful enough, not thin enough, not traveled enough, not experienced enough.
The Japanese approach is radical acceptance, not resignation, acceptance. You work to improve your situation, but you don't suffer because of where you are now. You find the good in what you have.
The financial application is obvious. If you're content with a used car, you don't have a $600 monthly payment. If you're content with a smaller home, you don't have a massive mortgage. If you're content with simple food, you don't hemorrhage money on restaurants.
But contentment doesn't mean never improving. It means improving from a place of sufficiency rather than scarcity.
Now, the American failure mode. And this one is so common it almost feels unfair to pick on individuals.
But you're going to anyway.
I have to. Let's talk about the Hendersons, upper middle class family in the suburbs. Mark makes $120,000, Lisa makes $80,000. Combined income of $200,000 puts them in the top 10% of US households.
They should be thriving.
They were 5 years ago. Then they got a raise. Then they bought a bigger house. Then they needed new furniture for the bigger house. Then they needed a nicer car for the driveway. Then their kids needed to switch to private school to match the neighborhood. Then they needed vacations to decompress from the stress of paying for everything.
Lifestyle creep in real time.
Today, they make $240,000 combined. They have $400 in their checking account and $35,000 in credit card debt. Their mortgage is $3,200 per month. Their car payments are $1,100. They are financially stressed, constantly fighting about money, and genuinely believe they can't afford to save for retirement.
They have everything they wanted and nothing they need.
And here's the Chisoku failure. They never stopped to ask, is this enough? Each upgrade felt necessary at the time. The bigger house seemed like an investment. The private school seemed like good parenting. The vacations seemed like self-care.
But none of it satisfied them because satisfaction wasn't the goal. The goal was always the next thing.
The Japanese practice of Chisoku would have had them pause after the first raise and ask, are we content now? If so, let's save this extra income rather than expand our spending.
The 50-50 rule. When income increases, save 50% of the increase, spend 50%. You improve your lifestyle slightly while dramatically improving your security.
If the Hendersons had done that with their $40,000 raise, they'd have $20,000 more per year in investments. Over 20 years at 7%, that's $820,000. Instead, they have debt and anxiety.
Chisoku isn't about poverty. It's about recognizing the point of enough and stopping there. The Japanese concept of the space between things, applies here. Leave space in your budget. Leave space in your home. Leave space in your schedule.
And that space is where wealth grows, because every dollar not spent on the next upgrade is a dollar working for your future.
The paradox is that contentment often leads to greater wealth than ambition does, because content people don't waste money on status symbols. They don't panic buy solutions to emotional problems. They don't keep up with the Joneses.
How do we practice Chisoku in a culture designed to make us feel inadequate?
Contentment practice, honestly. Every evening, write 3 things you're grateful for that cost nothing. Your health, your relationships, your skills, your safety. Remind yourself daily that you have enough.
And when you get a raise or bonus, automatically increase your savings rate before you increase your spending. Make contentment the default, expansion the exception.
Method 6. Kaizen. Famous in business but massively underapplied in personal finance.
Kaizen means continuous improvement or change for the better. In manufacturing, it's about making tiny incremental changes that compound into massive efficiency gains. In personal finance, it's the 1% rule.
Improve your financial life by 1% every day, not 50% in one dramatic gesture. 1%. Compound that over a year and you've improved 37 times over.
The beauty is that 1% improvements are sustainable. They don't trigger resistance. You don't need willpower for a 1% change. You just need awareness and consistency.
Examples. Negotiate your phone bill down by $5. That's 1%. Learn one new thing about investing. That's 1%. Skip one impulse purchase. That's 1%. Optimize your grocery list to reduce waste. That's 1%.
And these stock. The person who improves 1% daily for 5 years isn't 5 times better. They're 77 times better. Exponential growth from linear effort.
Now, how Americans get this wrong. And this is subtle because we think we're doing Kaizen when we're actually doing something else.
Let's talk about optimization culture. The people who spend 40 hours researching credit card rewards to save $200 per year. The people who have 6 different budgeting apps that they spend more time configuring than using. The people who read 50 personal finance books but never implement anything.
Analysis paralysis dressed up as improvement.
Exactly. I know a guy, let's call him Alex from Austin, who is obsessed with financial optimization. He has spreadsheets tracking his net worth daily. He has 3 different investment accounts to optimize tax strategies. He spends weekends researching high-yield savings accounts to earn an extra 0.3% interest.
How much is his time worth?
Here's the kicker. Alex makes $95,000 per year as a software developer. His hourly rate is roughly $45. He spends approximately 15 hours per week on financial optimization. That's $675 per week of his time, or $35,100 per year, to save maybe $2,000 in optimized interest and rewards.
He's spending $35,000 worth of time to save $2,000 in money.
And he's stressed constantly, always checking rates, always comparing options, always feeling like he could be doing better. His continuous improvement is actually continuous anxiety.
That's not Kaizen. Kaizen is small improvements that reduce friction and free up mental energy. Alex has created more friction and consumed more energy.
Real Kaizen in personal finance is set up automatic savings once, improve it by 1% every few months, then forget about it. Focus your energy on earning more, not optimizing the margin.
The Japanese factory worker doing Kaizen doesn't obsess over the process. They make one small change, verify it works, standardize it, and move on. The improvement runs itself.
Alex needs to automate his finances so completely that he only thinks about money once per month for 30 minutes. That's the Kaizen goal, reducing the attention required, not increasing it.
The 1% improvement should be in your earning capacity, your savings rate, your investment knowledge, not in your optimization of existing systems.
So real Kaizen, increase your 401k contribution by 1% every quarter until you hit the max. That's 4 clicks per year. Learn one new skill that makes you more valuable at work. That's focused effort with compound returns. Reduce one recurring expense permanently, then never think about it again.
Small, permanent, automated improvements, not continuous tinkering.
Method 7, Tonomoshi. This one is fascinating because it's so culturally specific and so potentially powerful, yet almost unknown in America.
Tanamoshi is a rotating savings and a credit association, a ROSCA in academic terms. A group of people, often friends, coworkers, or community members, agree to contribute a fixed amount monthly to a collective pot. Each month, one member takes the entire pot. This rotates until everyone has received the lump sum once.
So, if 10 people contribute $200 per month, each month someone gets $2,000. No interest, no bank, no credit checks.
It's based on trust and social obligation. If you don't pay, you lose face in the community. That social pressure ensures higher repayment rates than formal banking systems in many cases.
The financial benefit is access to lump sums without interest. The social benefit is accountability and community support. The psychological benefit is forced savings discipline. You can't skip a payment without consequences.
In Japan, these are often called mujin or tanamoshiko. They're common among small business owners, immigrant communities, and rural villages. My grandmother participated in one for 30 years with her neighborhood friends.
Now, the American attempt at this, and this is where things get messy.
I'm afraid to ask.
Let's talk about the Friend Group Financial Club. A group of 6 friends in their late 20s heard about Roscas and decided to start one. They'd each contribute $300 per month, and every 2 months, someone would get $1,800.
Reasonable amounts, clear structure.
The first rotation went fine. Sarah got the first pot and used it to pay off a credit card. Great start. The second rotation, Mike got the money and didn't use it for the agreed purpose. He was supposed to fix his car. Instead, he bought a gaming PC and a trip to Vegas.
Oh no.
Then he couldn't make the next 2 contributions because he was broke from Vegas. The group had to cover his shares or dissolve the circle. 2 members dropped out, angry. The remaining 3 had to increase their contributions to cover the gap. Within 6 months, the Tonomoshi was dead and 3 friendships were severely damaged.
They treated a sacred, trust-based system like a casual Venmo request.
The failure points were no formal agreement, no social consequences built in, no selection criteria for members, and no enforcement mechanism. They assumed friendship was enough collateral.
In traditional Tanamoshi, membership is carefully vetted. Your reputation is at stake. Your family's reputation is at stake. Defaulting means social exile, not just awkwardness.
Americans try to import the mechanism without the culture that makes it work. It's like trying to drive a car without an engine.
That said, Tanamoshi can work in America if done right. Immigrant communities have preserved these systems successfully. The key elements are clear written agreements, social cohesion among members, equal financial stability of participants, and community enforcement of rules.
For most Americans, the better application is understanding the principle. Community accountability improves financial behavior. Find a money buddy, join a financial support group, share your goals publicly, create social stakes for your financial commitments.
The modern version might be a financial accountability pod. Four friends who meet monthly to review each other's budgets and goals, not handling each other's money, but witnessing and supporting the discipline.
Tonomoshi teaches us that money is social, and social pressure can be harnessed for good, but only if the social bonds are strong enough to bear the weight.
Method 8. Cash First Culture. This is where Japan and America diverge most dramatically.
Japan is surprisingly cash-based for such a technologically advanced society. Even now, in 2024, about 60% of transactions in Japan use cash. Compare that to the US, where it's under 20% and dropping fast.
And this isn't technological backwardness, it's intentional. Cash creates what behavioral economists call the pain of paying. When you hand over physical bills, you feel the loss. When you tap a card or phone, it's abstract. You dissociate from the spending.
The Japanese approach extends to envelope budgeting, or what some call cash stuffing. You allocate physical cash to categories at the beginning of the month. When the envelope is empty, you stop spending in that category. No exceptions, no borrowing from other envelopes.
It's Kakeibo made physical. The tactile reality of money running out creates a boundary that digital numbers don't.
Studies consistently show that people spend 12 to 18% more when using cards versus cash. For a household spending $60,000 per year, that's $7,200 to $10,800 in invisible extra spending from plastic alone.
Now, the American failure, and this is almost universal at this point.
Let's talk about contactless conversion. Everyone in America is moving to digital payments. Apple Pay, Venmo, automatic subscriptions, one-click Amazon ordering. We are systematically removing every friction point from spending.
Friction was the feature, not the bug.
Exactly. I watched my sister, let's call her Emma from Chicago, convert completely to digital payments over 2 years. She started with Apple Pay for convenience, then added Amazon One-Click, then set up AutoPay for all her bills, then subscribed to curated lifestyle boxes that charged her monthly automatically.
She optimized for speed, not awareness.
Within 18 months, Emma's spending had increased 34% despite her income staying flat. She literally didn't know where the money was going. It was just disappearing. Digital ghosts eating her paycheck.
Couldn't she check her accounts? She did, weekly, but seeing numbers on a screen doesn't trigger the same response as handling cash. She'd see $847 spent on dining out this month and think, that seems high, then do nothing. There was no moment of decision, no physical limit reached, no envelope running empty.
The abstraction allowed the overspending to continue. When she finally went back to cash envelope budgeting for her discretionary spending, just $400 per week in cash for food, entertainment, and shopping, she cut that spending by 40% immediately. Not because she was trying harder, but because she could feel the limit.
This is why Japanese banks still issue passbooks, physical books that get stamped with every transaction. The tactile record matters.
For Americans, the lesson isn't necessarily to go all cash. That's impractical for online bills, rent, etc. But the principle is create artificial friction. Delete saved payment information so you have to enter your card number manually. Use debit instead of credit. Set up spending alerts that require acknowledgement. Make spending visible and slightly annoying.
The Japanese cash culture isn't about rejecting technology, it's about maintaining awareness. Use technology for tracking, but create physical or procedural friction for spending.
Every tap, click, and auto payment should require a conscious moment of decision. That's what cash forces, and that's what digital removes at our financial peril.
Method 9. Quality over quantity, the buy once philosophy. And this is where Japanese craftsmanship culture meets personal finance.
This principle is simple. Purchase fewer items, but purchase them to last a lifetime. A $500 coat worn for 20 years costs $25 per year. A $100 coat replaced every 2 years costs $50 per year. The expensive option is actually cheaper, plus you have a better coat the entire time.
The Japanese concept of monozukuri, the spirit of craftsmanship, applies to consumption too. Choose items made with care, maintain them with care, repair them when needed, and keep them for decades.
This applies to everything: furniture, kitchenware, tools, clothing, even technology if chosen carefully. The goal is to end the cycle of replacement and disposal.
And the financial benefit is massive. Lower costs per use, less time spent shopping, less mental energy on decisions, less waste, and often better resale value if you ever do need to sell.
Now, the American version of this, and it's heartbreaking because we think we're being smart.
The investment piece collectors?
Let's talk about Rebecca from Richmond. Rebecca discovered the Buy It for Life philosophy on Reddit. She was tired of fast fashion and cheap furniture. She decided to invest in quality.
Good intention.
Rebecca went to a high-end department store and bought a $1,200 investment coat. Cashmere, classic design, supposed to last 20 years. Then she bought $800 investment boots. Then a $2,500 investment sofa. Then a $600 investment chef's knife.
She's spending like she has investment income, not salary.
Within 6 months, Rebecca had spent $15,000 on investment pieces and was carrying $8,000 in credit card debt. The coat got a stain she didn't know how to clean. The boots got scuffed and she didn't know how to care for leather. The sofa was uncomfortable, but she felt too guilty to replace it. The knife was scary sharp and she went back to using her dull old one.
She bought the objects without buying the knowledge or habits to maintain them.
And here's the tragedy. Rebecca's old $150 coat from Uniqlo, she'd worn it for 3 years and it was still fine. Her old $80 boots, comfortable and functional. She replaced functional items with investment items she didn't know how to use or care for and ended up worse off financially and functionally.
That's not quality over quantity. That's status signaling with extra steps.
The real Japanese approach is gradual. You don't replace everything at once. You research extensively. You learn maintenance skills before buying. You buy one quality item per year, not 15 in 6 months.
And you buy things that fit your actual life, not your fantasy life. Rebecca's expensive chef's knife was wasted on someone who cooked twice a week. A quality non-stick pan would have served her better.
The buy once philosophy requires patience, knowledge, and honesty about your habits. It's not an excuse to overspend on luxury goods.
Start with categories where quality matters most for your life. If you walk a lot, invest in shoes. If you cook daily, invest in pans. If you work from home, invest in your chair. One quality item, properly maintained, replaces 10 cheap ones.
And calculate cost per use before buying. A $300 item used daily for 5 years costs 16 cents per use. A $30 item used once and discarded costs $30 per use. The math is clear. We've covered 9 Japanese wealth-building methods: Kakeibo, Tsumitate, Mottainai, Ikigai, Chisoku, Kaizen, Tanamoshi, cash-first culture, and quality over quantity.
And we've seen how Americans tend to fail at each one. Aestheticizing instead of practicing, optimizing instead of simplifying, consuming instead of maintaining, and chasing status instead of building security.
The common thread through all 9 is what we might call quiet wealth. Not loud, not flashy, not fast. Sustainable, intentional, community-rooted, and deeply personal.
These methods work because they align money with values. They make wealth building feel like integrity rather than deprivation.
And they're accessible. You don't need a high income. You don't need special knowledge. You need consistency, awareness, and patience.
The Japanese approach recognizes that wealth is a byproduct of a well-lived life, not the purpose of it. When you fix the life through purpose, contentment, community, and respect for resources, the wealth follows naturally.
For our listeners wanting to start, pick one method, just one. Practice it for 3 months until it's automatic. Then add another. This is Kaizen applied to your financial education.
I recommend starting with Kakeibo. The awareness it creates will make every other method easier. You'll see where your money goes, and more importantly, you'll see where your attention goes.
And remember, these are practices, not purchases. Don't buy your way into Japanese wealth philosophy. Live your way into it.
The goal isn't to perfect all 9 methods. It's to find the ones that resonate with your situation and commit to them deeply.
Wealth built slowly is wealth that lasts. Wealth built quietly is wealth that frees. And wealth built with wisdom is wealth that serves.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Japanese wealth building. If you found value in this episode, please share it with someone who needs to hear it.
And we'd love to hear from you. Which of these 9 methods resonates most with your situation? Have you tried any of them? Email us at hello@thezenofwealth.com or DM us on Instagram.
Next week, we're exploring how Scandinavian lagom, the philosophy of just enough, creates some of the highest savings rates in the world. Another culture, another set of lessons.
Until then, may your savings grow quietly and your contentment grow loudly.
This is Riri Nakamura.
And this is Justin Chen. Thanks for listening to the Zen of Wealth.
Theme music fading in. And seriously, stop buying driftwood candle holders.
Let the record show that Riri is anti-driftwood.
Pro contentment, anti driftwood. That's my platform.